How do you think he will rank in the history of economic theory or thought?
As a man with a great many ideas who knew very little economics, and that's literally true. So he knew nothing but Marshallian economics. He was completely unaware of what was going on elsewhere. He even knew very little about 19th century economic history. His interests were very largely guided by aesthetic appeal. And he hated the 19th century, and therefore knew very little about it. Even about its scientific literature. He was a really great expert in the Elizabethan age.
I'm absolutely astounded that you say that John Maynard Keynes really didn't know the economic literature.
Oh,
He had
very little. Even within the English tradition, he did know very little of the great monetary writers of the 19th century. He would know nothing about Henry Thornton. He knew a little about Ricardo, of course, the famous things. But he could have found any number of antecedents of his inflationary ideas in the 1820s and 1830s. And when I told him about it, it was all new to him.
How did he react? Was he sheepish?
No, not in the least. He was much too self-assured and
amused,
convinced that what other people could have said about the subject was not frightfully important. Then, at the end, well, not in the end, there was a period just after he'd written the general theory where he was so convinced he had redone the whole science that he was rather contemptuous of anything which had been done before.
And did he maintain that confidence to the end?
I can't say, because I said before, we'd almost stopped talking economics. Great many other subjects, general history of ideas and so on, we were interested. And, you know, I don't want you to get the impression that I underestimated him as a brain. He was one of the most intelligent and most original thinkers I have known. But economics was just a sideline for him. And he had an amazing memory. He was extraordinarily widely read. But economics was not really his main but his own economics was he was convinced he could recreate the subject. And he rather had contempt for most of the other economists.
Does this tie in with your two kinds of minds? You wrote in Encounter some years ago, a piece that
Well, curiously enough, I would say Keynes was rather my type of mind, not the other. He certainly could not have been described as a master of his subject, which I described the other time. He was an intuitive thinker with a very wide knowledge in many fields, who had never felt that economics was weighty enough to... He just took it for granted that Marshall's textbook contained everything one need to know about the subject. There was a certain arrogance of Cambridge economics about. I mean, they thought they were the center of the world, and if you have learned Cambridge economics, there's nothing else worth learning.
I'm interested in your earlier comment about the fact that here is a man of immense intelligence, great imagination, wide learning and so on, and yet was not an economist. And I'm not clear whether you mean he didn't have the kind of mind that excels in economics, just as mathematics. Say you can find people who are brilliant, but who, given mathematics, are just hopeless. But do you mean he didn't have the kind of mind that makes for first-rate economists?
Oh, he had. I mean, if he had given his whole mind to economics, he could have become a master of economics, of the existing body. But there were certain parts of economic theory which he had never been interested in. He had never thought about the theory of capital. He was very shaky even on the theory of international trade. He was well informed on contemporary monetary theory, but even there he did not know such things as Henry Thornton or Wicksell. And of course his great effect was he didn't read any foreign language except French. The whole German literature was inaccessible to him. He did, curious enough, review Mises' book on money, but later admitting that in German he could only understand what he knew already. So
What he had known before he read the book.